Hello Yu-Gi-Oh players and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Popped Collars. I'm your host, the RJB0. So, with the release of the effect of Noblswarm Belzemuth, or Belzebuth, or however it's actually spelled at the present moment, and the 101 series, both Arc Knight and Dark Knight, a question that we as Yu-Gi-Oh! Players have to begin answering or asking ourselves is, are we approaching the golden age of rank 4 spamming? Now, if you look at the current meta and the deck pool that we have available to us, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Is extremely biased toward level 4s and rank 4 monsters. I can't even count off the top of my head the number of decks that are designed to put lots of level 4 monsters on the board consistently. I mean, we have Evil Swarm, Constellar, Thunder Family, Worms, Noble Knights, Gadgets. I'm sure there are others, but they're just getting past me. Black Wings. All of these things can consistently put level 4 monsters on the board, and therefore can consistently put rank 4 monsters on the board. Now, the thing that I think has been holding back level 4 spammy decks for a long time, aside from the fact that they've all been around while Dragon Rulers were in power, and Dragon Rulers are just so powerful that they shift the meta down, like they shift everything down a tier in comparison to them. The other thing that I think has been holding them back is the fact that the vast majority of level 4 or rank 4 monsters that have any sort of real power have been specific, and in that way, it has made it very difficult for level 4 decks to really become the solid meta. Like, the most powerful rank 4s have all been things like Paladynamo, the Evilzars, Ophion, Master Key Beetle, things like that. They're all specific in materials, and I think that holds back rank 4 spamming decks, because it makes their consistency a lot less potent. Because if you look at it, the generic rank 4s that are available, and this is going to be especially important when I talk about a certain deck in a moment, the generic rank 4s that are currently available are extremely limited in power. You have Maestro, which does have the ability to take out monsters by flipping them face down, then running them over, but if you think about it, the vast majority of monsters that your opponent is going to be leaving on the board are not things that can be taken down by Maestro. Things like Big Eye or Dragasack. I mean, Ophion can be taken down, but that deck has so many outs for cards like Maestro that it's not even funny. Diamond Dyer can take out any card on the board, but at the cost of 2 pieces of field presence. Even Abyss Dweller has lost a degree of its power, but with Belzemuth, which is just a totally imbalanced card, it's not even funny how broken that card is. And the 101 series, now generic rank 4s come Legacy of Valiant, which of course will take a little while, but the generic rank 4s have actually a degree of power because, well, they're just really good cards. I don't know if you've noticed how ridiculous those two sets or cards are, but this brings us to the case of which deck will actually see significant improvement from these releases. Of course, each and every rank 4 spam deck that is out there, and there are a lot of them, has the ability to use these cards, and therefore has the potential to be improved by these cards. But which the decks are going to be really helped by this, and which decks are really going to come out on top? Now, there are a couple ways that we can determine who the winner of this fight is going to be. Each of these rank 4 decks have their specific monsters that they use, their specific rank 4s. Thunder Family and Constellar have things like Paladynamo and Omega, and of course Constellar has Pleiades, but we won't talk about that right now. Evil Swarms and Black Wings have Master Key Beetle. Evil Swarms have Ophion. Each of them has their specific rank 4 Xyz monster that they use that gives them a particular edge against other decks. And one major factor in which of these decks is going to come out on top with the release of 101 and Belzemuth is which one has better specific Xyz monsters that have greater synergy with those two cards and can be used with a better rhythm with them and a better long-term strategy between those two sets of cards. But in my opinion, the biggest factor as to which of these rank 4 decks is going to really come out on top in the end comes down to card economy. Which decks can make these cards without losing as much as advantage as the other one, which is an interesting question considering the fact that you have to have disadvantage to your opponent in order to use Belzemuth's effect. But in the long run, it really is going to be which deck has the greater card economy when it comes to using these cards effectively and coming out on top. Which, even though I have a personal bias toward Thunder Family, I think it means that Thunder Family is probably going to be ruled out to a degree, simply because card economy in the Thunder Family takes work. And there are decks that you can get card economy out of with rank 4s that don't take work. Specifically, the deck that I personally think is most likely to come out on top from this, Gadgets. Gadgets with Tin Goldfish and Kagetokage can consistently put both of these cards on the board without losing resources. Because whenever you put a gadget on the board, of course you gain a resource from your deck, unless of course your opponent does something dumb like Veiloring it. And so, you know, you don't lose anything from summoning those monsters, which means you get pluses off of them, and then you get some pretty crazy things. And not only that, but Gadgets have the most potential to go into C101, which is going to be the most powerful play out of all of them, in my opinion, since it can basically revive itself and give you 2,800 life points constantly, while also taking your opponent's monsters and using them as Xyz material. It's a pretty spectacularly broken card. Once you put it on the board, of course, which requires a rank-up magic, which of course uses resources, but if you're playing a deck like Gadgets, resources aren't as much of an issue as they would be normally. So I think Gadgets have the biggest edge over all of the rest of the decks as far as card economy goes. Evil Swarms do have an interesting advantage over Gadgets in a way, in that they have Pandemic, which can protect Noblswarm Belzemuth, but in the end, I think it's going to be that Noblswarm Belzemuth is just a card that you use when you're just running out of resources, and you're like, hey, I gotta get something out here. You use the Belzemuth, and you blast the board, and you begin to push again because, you know, once again, you've gained advantage over your opponent. But I'm not discrediting its value early game. Keep in mind, this is just an incredibly broken card. But that's probably going to be its most common use. So in my opinion, Gadgets are going to come out on top from this. They have the best card economy of any rank 4 deck. They've been needing... The only thing that's really been holding them back is a lack of firepower. Their best card in terms of course, firepower is Machina Fortress. And even that it is very limited in its abilities to take out cards on your opponent's side of the field and deal damage. Whereas with the combination of Belzemuth and the 101s, I think that Gadgets really are going to gain the edge they need to get back in the meta game. So I want to know what you guys think. What decks do you think can most efficiently use these two cards? Do you think that C101 is actually going to see some serious play? Do you think that these two cards are actually even going to be a major factor in the game? Of course, hit me up in the comment section below. Meanwhile, I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, let me know why. And then, of course, subscribe for more discussions, decks, and general shenanigans. Thank you guys for watching You Go in Business Casual. I'm your host, the RJB0, and I got a jet. See you guys.